Hello YouTube, this is Jerry again with another video of how to do it yourself. Today's video is a more complex video because we're going to be working inside the engine. And this particular issue is to a stalling issue that the Jeep is, this particular Jeep is having. So we're going to be using some chemicals as well. I'm going to share some information with each of you, especially those who are facing with stalling issue. Something that I find out through Chrysler is the fact that they have a safety recall, and that recall is number 52, and it's related to the engine balance shaft. And basically that includes some models, including 2013 through 2014 for Dodge Avengers, Chrysler 200, Dodge Journey, Jeep Compass, Jeep Patriot, and Fiat Fremont. What I like about this particular case is the fact that they basically release an entire process of how to do it yourself. And as you can see today, we're going to be working in some marks. We're going to be going inside the engine to try to change the balance shaft and shaft drive with the oil pump. Now for that, you're going to need a couple of tools. One of the tools that you are going to need is basically a ratchet with a 22 millimeters. Also, you will need an extension. And I'm using 3 different ones, and it's because I'm going to go into 3 different areas. Small one, and also an extension with a 10 millimeter. We're going to be removing some 10 millimeters screw, and also we're going to use a wrench with an 8 millimeter side. Also, we're going to be using a metal crapper to remove the oil pan. And beside that, other tools that you're going to need to do this job is also, because I have a list here, you're going to need one of these sponge scrub, and I'm going to tell you shortly why you will need it. The brand that I use, as you can see, is a Scotch Brite, and it comes with a 6-pack. I bought that one at Walmart. I'm going to be using some Super Tech lubricant. Also, I'm going to be using some gunk engine cleaner. And I'm going to be using some Permatex Ultra Black gasket seal. And also we're going to be using some seafoam for the oil. But in this particular case, I was reading the instruction, and we have to basically add 1 ounce per each quarter because of the fact that is basically 5 quarters of oil. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this bottle that is showing me the ounce. So we're gonna be using basically 5 ounces to add it to the oil. And I did part of the work also. Something that I'm using is I'm gonna go with a 5 quarters Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. I'm using 1030 because the Jeep that I'm going to be working today already have over 100,000 miles. And also, additionally to that, I already use it because I did some work to the car already. I'm gonna be replacing, of course, the oil filter, and I'm using Fram Extra Guard. And for that Jeep Patriot, the number that they use is PH 160. I found those at Walmart. It's only like $4. And the other item that we're gonna be using today is oil flush. But I already flushed the engine, so this video, what I'm gonna do is just go over what I did, and you will see the whole work. And the flush that I used, or the oil flush that I used, was Motor Flush. And the reason why I use the flush is because due to the fact that I was gonna be changing. I hope that you can see that, since I was gonna be changing the the balance shaft and oil pump, I was like, well, let me go ahead and flush all this engine, and in that way, when I go in deep, basically the engine will be clean, and I will be working in a clean engine instead of doing it the same day. So the engine, I flushed the engine, I left the engine drain all the oil. The new filter is already in place because I already changed the filter, and I put the new one. I didn't want any oil to be dripping. And please stay tuned so I can show you the part that I have to order from Mopar. Okay, hello everyone. What I'm gonna do now is open the box. As you can see, what I did is I ordered the part original from Mopar. I need to be honest to you. You can order the part on eBay, but I didn't want to take the risk to order a used part out of eBay. I found it on eBay for $60, and I was like, well, you know what? I read the manufacturer book, and it said that after 100,000 miles, you should change it and replace it to make sure that you don't have any problem. And if you want to take the risk to install and use one, it's up to you. I saw some on eBay for $60. However, this one right here, which is a brand new factory, I found it from Mopar One down in Orlando, and it basically I pay only $295 or $97 if I'm not mistaken, and basically I will be going with a brand new balance shaft with a full warranty. And the wonderful part about it is that this particular one brings all the screws brand new. So basically I will be replacing this with a brand new, and if something happened to this one, then of course I will still have the warranty because it's Mopar certified. So this is what we're going to be changing today or replacing today. Besides replacing the balance shaft, I need to be honest with you. Something that I did was I got me some nails painting. This is used by females. And the reason why I'm using this is to mark the time, because you have to work. In this case, we will be working with timing. And that is very important that you follow those instructions in the timing, because if not, you will mess up your engine. The manual that is downloaded in, I will place the link later on. It explains to you, give you the marks. I went deeper than that, and also I'm using some wire to mark those points to make sure that I basically hit all the timing. And as you can see right here, is one of the marks right here that is already pointing out to this particular point right here. But the good thing about it is that this comes locked. And once you put that in place, then of course you will be able to remove the lock out of there, and you will be good to go. So the next video that I'm going to show you is basically what I have done so far in the car, then the installation. Stay tuned, please. Continuing the process for the seafoam. Basically the instructions said that to add to the crankcase oil, basically you add 1 ounce of seafoam per each quarter of oil added to the crankcase. So basically we're gonna be adding 5 quarters of Pennzoil platinum fuel synthetic, and what we're gonna do basically is add also 5 ounces of seafoam to the 5 ounces to the crankcase oil. So in there basically are the 5 ounces, as you can see there, almost there. I'm gonna add just a little bit more, and what I'm gonna do is, because of the fact that I still have my oil here, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and add the 5 ounces now, let it basically blend. Then I'm gonna go down there and start working in the Jeep Patriot. That Jeep Patriot is 2014, and stay tuned so you can see the process of the parts that you need to remove. All right, continue with the video. The first part that we're gonna remove is basically the intake. I already loose this. We're gonna basically release the computer. I already released the bolts that goes here and I save it there. So this is just showing a fast view so you have an idea of which parts you need to remove, because you need to have some space. Alright, the other part that you will be removing is the engine cover. Okay, something that you're gonna notice here is the fact that I basically number each of my spark 1, 2, 3, 4 for the cylinder, so I can remove this without being afraid of screwing up, because they're already numbers and identify. Okay, you can put those to the sides. They are marked. Also to remove those, remember that you have to remove this screw right here. Then you have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19 8mm bolt. And basically this is where this comes handy. I didn't use a screwdriver. The reason why I didn't want to use a screwdriver is because I didn't want to mess up my gasket. Then I basically release the crank cover. Why I'm doing this, the reason why I did this, and as you can see, I already cleaned all the edges in which I'm gonna use basically some of that silicone gasket. Now here comes the tricky part. There are two main timing points in here. One of them is right there. The other one is basically right here, and I'm gonna mark those later on so you can see it. Now they need to be aligned with this line right here in order for the engine to be on time. The other one they need to be marked on time is when I go under, you might be able to see it. Is the crankshaft, and in here, let's see, I'm not so sure if you're gonna be able to see it with my finger. It's difficult to pinpoint, but right here there is a T for timing. You need to make sure that this is timing with that. Now here also I'm going to show you how many screws you will have to remove in order to get the oil pan out. Alright, I'm beneath the car, and as you can see, you have to remove 18 10mm screw around the oil pan. Now also, this is the compressor base. You have to remove that. For that, you will be using a 1/2 cap, and one of the screw, basically you have to go through here in order to get to the screw which is up here and remove that. You have to remove this one too, and you got another one in this corner, and also you have another screw that is basically, let me see if I can show it to you so you know where you need to look for another one. There you go, that is right there. So you're gonna remove this base, you're gonna remove Let's see. They're already loose. This one right here. This one right here. All right, you're gonna remove the third one to basically get the base out. And these ones right here, I already worked on them. So as you can see, I can use my hand. And each of these are half. This one here is 10. And there are 18 of them that I already removed, but I just want to give you, sorry about all the movement, but I have to work with one hand, so with the other hand try to videotape, and it's not an easy task. And once you remove those 18, screws, wow, the other step will basically to get the oil pan out. Now, as you can see right here, as I said before when I started the video, I'm sorry that it's moving all over. I already cleaned all this part right here very neatly with a sponge. It's no grease on it. Now, in order to remove the balance shaft, I need to do another step, which I'm gonna move next to show you how we remove this this balance shaft with the oil pump out of the vehicle. So, okay, in this next video, what I'm gonna try to show you is the different timing points. There is one timing point for the balance shaft. In the crankshaft, there are, hopefully I will be able to show it to you. Let's see if I can go through, maybe, let's see. Let's see. There is the other point. Okay, I mark it with white ink and also with white out. So that point there basically go with that T that you see right there. That's for timing. Okay, you see the T at the top and you see the mark. Also, you have another dot there in the crankshaft, so you have to rotate this right here with the 22. Okay, you're gonna rotate clockwise. The only time in which you're gonna do counterclock is if you miss that point there, then you can just basically move it a little bit forward. Now, there are other points that you need to make sure they match, and this time what I did for you guys so you can see it was I marked them, and now you can see them. There is one, all right, and there is the second one. Okay, those need to be align. Now, next point that you will see here for timing is, I want to show you this part right here. Basically, it's better. Yeah, it's for the bracket. From this point right here, and I mark it up to this next point right here, which also has a market beneath. There are 16 of this bracket, and I'm going to count them for you. It's 1, 2. Let me go back from here to here. It's easier. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, so that basically right now will show you the timing. There you go. There you see the 2 points. All right, that's timing there, and they basically time with this part right here. Now I marked those to make sure that the engine was in timing, because now what I'm gonna do is go down here and remove the old balance shaft with the oil pump. Please stay tuned. Something else that I recommend when you do this job is to get these bags for sandwiches and catalog all the screws, because in that way you know where each screw goes and which each part goes, and it's more easier. Or let's go to the removal of the balance shaft with the oil pump. Now to lose the chain here for the balance shaft and oil pump, here you're gonna use a trick. You're gonna use one of the air conditioned bracket ball, and basically you got 2 that are long. You're gonna put it right here in this corner, and what you're gonna do is use a plastic type strap. Okay, and you're gonna basically hold it through this, basically tighten it here. Then you're gonna start pushing this way and tighten it this in order to release this tension chain, and the tensioner is right here. So I'm gonna do now this. All right, and you will see how basically I will be able to lose the balance shaft module drive chain tensioner. All right, guys, this is basically a continued video of how to do it yourself, removing a balance shaft with a oil pump assembly. And something that you notice is the fact that I already marked my chain, and also the point here. With the point here, the reason why I marked this one is because when I replace the new one, I know exactly where this bracket will go. Now, in order to start the remove process, well, you will see, or the replacement process, you have a hole here. So what you're gonna do, you wanna use an Allen key, and you're gonna secure that sprocket there. Now, before starting any removal, as you can see, I use one of these plastic strap to basically push the tension, the key tension inside. Now, as you put pressure in the key, then you need to be tightening this strap so it will stay in place. Now, once you secure the sprocket, all right, and right now I'm using only one hand, but when you do this, you will be using your 2 hands. One to hold this so your time will not go away and move all the parts, the crankshaft, then you will use a 10mm cup. And remember, the 10 will go in the sprocket. You hold this Allen key with one hand, and with the other hand, with your right hand, basically, you will remove or lose the sprocket. You have to hold this tight right here so it doesn't move. Now, one is move and one is loose. Basically, what you do here is, as you can see, you can remove this with your finger. All right, like that, comes out. Then basically there is your sprocket, and you still here basically with the change mark with the where the point goes. Now, going under here is my plastic strap, basically holding the tension and holding the chain in place. And this right here, basically what I did was I used one of the screw that hold the compressor. Now, once you have the chain loose, basically you will use a 12mm to lose the 4 screw that hold the balance shaft assembly with the oil pump. Now, you might need to use a hammer to hit this screw and tap them hard a couple of times so they get loose, because they are very tight and those are factory screw. Now, once you have that loose, so basically what you do is you use your 12 and basically you're gonna loose those screws. All right, each of them. All right, as you can see, I already loose them mine. All of them are basically loose and ready to be removed. And of course, now I'm using my finger. As you can see, now I'm using my fingers. But before I had to put some torque and some power into these screws to be able to get them out. That is one. That is two. That is three. And here is number 4. And I'm sorry guys if the video move a lot, but I'm using one hand while recording this. Okay. Okay, continue with the video on how to remove the balance shaft assembly with a water pump, with a fuel pump. Oil pump, what I'm saying. So there you have it. Now it's not easy. As you can see, guys, I already basically clean all this area right here. Because here is what I will be using the sealing for the gasket. And that green sponge that I showed you before to scrap, that's what I use basically to clean all the corners. And basically after that, what I did was I used to clean this, something that I used, to be honest to you, was lubricant. And as you can see, the entire surface is very clean. And I'm ready to receive the new to receive the new balance shaft oil pump assembly. And basically this is the old one. This is where the brackets go. All right. Something that I noticed when I was replacing this one is the fact that you can see, maybe if I move it this way, and go this way, this seals right here, you can feel them, they are loose. And the inside doesn't look that good either, including the filter was basically having some debris already accumulating. So now in the next video, what I'm going to show you is how to install the new one. And as you can see, I cannot address this more. For someone who's going to try to do something like that, you need to be very careful, because you need to mark all those time spots, because when you put this back, you need to make sure that you're putting everything and anything back. As you can see, I marked the crankshaft with the timing, and also the exhaust, balance, and crank balance was is also in time. And now what I'm gonna do is shortly I'm sorry, start installing the new balance shaft and oil pump assembly. And as you can see, something that I did again, and I cannot address this more, I already cleaned all the surface, so it's ready to be added. Something that you need to do is, once you drain the oil, make sure that you put a new oil filter. I use a Fram extra mileage, and mine is PH. For this particular Jeep, the Jeep Patriot 2014 Latitude, is a PH 160. PH 160. Strap holding the tension in place. Change is not moving. All right. So for those who watch this video, I do apologize for all the inconvenience and the moving, but I'm using my cellular phone and using one hand to record and the other hand to get all the screws and the sprocket in place. Is kind of hard, but I hope that helps some. I mean, if somebody tried to do this at home, I hope this video will help you. And basically stay tuned for the next video on how to place the new one. I ordered mine from Mopar. Mopar 1 down in Orlando. It cost me $292, and of course, as I said previously, you can find them on eBay. Buy them on eBay for $60, $85, sometimes $100. But in my case, I'm not gonna run a risk to put something used, then have to change it maybe in another 3 months. I prefer to go factory, replace it with a new one, and have the warranty on it. So I will keep working on this, and I will see you soon with a video on how to install the new one. All right, so basically, I received the new balance shaft from Chrysler. Something that I noticed with this new balance shaft is the fact that it comes with 8 bolts of different length, and it will tell you exactly the measurement of each of those bolts. And they want you to replace the 16 bolt with the 4 bolts that are the same length from the package. Now, something else that I want to address is the fact when you open your package, make sure that you inspect thoroughly your balance shaft with the oil pump assembly. Why I'm saying that is because of the fact that when I received my first one, it came damaged. It was bent, and I noticed it. And as soon as I noticed it, I got in contact with Mopar, and they replace it. So in this one right here, it doesn't have any bend, it doesn't have any damage. I already inspected and it looked good. Now, because of the fact that the instruction in the package said that you need to match the bolts that you remove with the one that they send you, keep in mind that they will send you 8 of them. All right? The package comes with 8. So with those 8, from those 8, you need to make sure that the one that you pick match the one that you remove in length. So here, as you can see, these are the match, and those are the one that I will be using. Something else that I did during the process, you notice that I removed the sprocket in order for me to be able to remove the old balance shaft from the block. Now, with that said, because of the fact that I don't have a driver torque wrench that tell me the pounds that I need to put in this screw when I tie, what I did was something simple. To remove this one, before remove it, I mark the sprocket right here. I paint my timing point right here. And basically, what I did was I just used this, which is what female use to paint their nails. To make sure that I didn't mess up the time, because the sprocket is already marked. Now, I also marked this right here because I want to make sure because of the fact that I was messing up with this to get it out, that I knew exactly where my pin was going to be placed. Now, something else that you notice is the fact that I put a little dots in here, and to the screw I put a little dots here. Is because of the fact that I lose this already. It's losing it. So in that way, when I tie, I know where to stop, and that way I will reach those pounds that are needed to tie that particular screw. Last but not least, something that I noticed was, and this is something that maybe someone out there will see this video and clarify this point. When I removed the old one, something that I noticed was the fact that this right here, these seals right here, are loose. As you can see, I can move it with my fingers, and they want to like come out. And this one, both of them. Now, you hear that? Honestly speaking, I don't know if that's supposed to be like that or not. But something that I noticed is when I received the new one, I inspected those seals, and something that I noticed is they don't move at all. They're sealed. So with that said, I'm not so sure if that will play a role for this to be tie, so they don't like, they seal this part right here. But if someone out there knows something, maybe this will be loose. Maybe you will lose pressure through these points right here, because these ones right here, as I said, they are loose. They're coming out. While this one here, they are tight. So now, in the next steps that I'm gonna do is basically to put everything back together. Keep in mind that you need to use Permatex Ultra Black Maximum to seal your oil pan, and that will create a gasket. That is something that I'm not gonna show how I'm gonna do it, because to be honest to you, putting everything back in the car is the opposite of removing the replacement. So when you remove something, the only thing that you have to remember is that you're gonna put back everything basically the same way that you remove it. So what I'm gonna do is now put the new balance shaft with the old point assembly. Before I do that, I'm gonna add some oil in here before I put it back, because as you can see, this comes dry. Of course, they're not gonna send you to oil. Something else that I'm gonna add some oil before trying to crank the car or turn on the car is the oil filter. As you remember, I already put a new oil filter in the car because I didn't want any oil to keep dripping. So what I'm gonna do with that new one, I'm just go ahead and loosen it up, add some oil to the filter, tie the filter, put some oil on the balance shaft, then basically start tightening this to the vehicle. Something else that I want to address regarding the replacement of the balance shaft. When Chrysler added the instruction, they basically will tell you exactly the torque that you need to put in each of those screws. Also, something else that they explain within their diagram is which ball how you need to connect the bolt, and they go basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and this come all these instructions here. They release them with their safety recall number 52, the engine shaft module. And as you can see in there, they will tell you that it's from 2013, 2014. And it will tell you which are the car that they recall because issues with the engine balance shaft module. Need to be honest to you. When you get in contact with them, they will ask you for the VIN number to find out if, in fact, your car fall under any of the categories that they have in record, and they will do it for free. Now, however, what I like about what they did is that they basically give you the step-by-step on how to do it yourself. You need to be patient. You need to take your time and follow the process as they explain. And something that I noticed here is the fact that once you replace the balance shaft, it doesn't say that you have to primer. And that doesn't surprise me because, to be honest to you, not all the fuel the oil pumps need to be primed. And you see, as you can see, said here, install the engine oil pan, an air conditioning compressor, lower mounting ball bracket, and I'm gonna see if I can find it. Check the oil engine. Right there. Fill the vehicle with 5 quarts of oil, start the engine, and allow the engine oil pressure to build. Turn off the engine after the oil pressure has been stabilized. So as you can see, their manual that they released basically include all the instructions. Okay, and that's for the safety recall number 52, engine balance shaft module. I'm sorry. Well, let me basically go and finish the work, and the last video that I'm going to post basically will be the car running. Take care, guys. As I said, it's a good idea before you install the oil filter to go ahead and put some oil inside the oil filter. Then also I'm gonna do the same thing with the oil pump, because as you can see it comes dry, but I'm gonna add some oil to that oil pump, just a bit, so I don't have any drain dripping into my face when I'm putting it back together. But I'm not gonna just put it dry, I'm just gonna prime it a little bit. Okay, so in this video I already put in place the sprocket. As you can see, I hit all my points. So what I'm gonna do now is I already remove the plastic strap or grab that was holding my tensioner. And what I'm gonna do basically now is go ahead and remove the pin that was holding the balance shaft oil pump assembly in place. There is my first time second one, which is the crankshaft right there. All right, align with a T. There is a new balance shaft in place. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is I added some oil to this. The new oil filter has oil on it too. So what I'm gonna do, I already tied the 4 screws to the specifications. So now the next steps is basically to use a ultra black Permatex gasket maker, and I already cleaned my pan and all these. I'm not touching it because I removed all the oil and all this is clean and being ready to basically put the gasket. So shortly you will see the car turn on. Just stay tuned for the news for the next video. All right. Okay, and as you can see, I hit the marks again. The new balance shaft is in place. I check all the points. I removed the plastic grab that was holding the tensioner. All right. I removed the pin that came with a new balance shaft. And now what I'm gonna do is basically add the ultra black Permatex to the oil pan, and basically place the oil pan and add the oil. So that is basically the new balance shaft in place, sir. Just stay tuned for the next step. One moment. So okay, we are almost done. I'm just reviewing to make sure that all my timing is okay with the intake camshaft and the exhaust camshaft, and looking to make sure that all my timing points are in place. And basically I just clean all that in there. It looked pretty good, you know. So I already put in place the oil pan. I'm just waiting for the gasket seal to dry it up so I can add the oil. And what I did was basically I was just looking at all my timing points and making sure that all of them are lined up. And that's the timing there with the crankshaft. Okay. And basically I look at you see how I mark the intake shaft and the exhaust shaft to make sure that all those points align. And basically what I'm gonna do is put everything together now. I clean my seals. And keep in mind that I flushed this engine before I started doing all this. So as I said in the video when I started doing this job, keep in mind that the reason why I didn't show how to put everything back together still some of the video show that is because of the fact that when you remove everything, then what you have to do is basically put everything back. The most important part about this particular job is to make sure that you don't screw with the timing. And once let's take a look. Sorry about that. Once the Permadeck dried up, then I will add the oil, then crank the engine. So stay tuned. Shortly I will basically crank the car on and turn on the car, and I will add a video to this one so you can see the whole job completed. Just stay tuned. Well, this is the final resort. Basically, after changing the balance shaft, sounds good. What I'm doing now is basically I'm letting the engine build pressure because of the fact that it was without oil, and I flushed the engine. And also something that I'm gonna look now that it's basically building pressure, I'm gonna look for any sign of oil leak, especially under the car. The water that you see is water because I was adding some water to the radiator, but so far so good. Look nice, look clean. No oil change, no oil leaks. So and go ahead and let the engine run for at least a good 30 minutes so the engine can build pressure. No lights on, everything sounds perfect. And there you have it. And again, what can I say about this particular process? Is there is a process that is very precise. You need to be very precise. You need to take your time to do it. And if you do it the way that it's supposed to be, and if you follow all the instructions, you will end victorious. So one more time, guys, this is Jerry with another video, and in this video basically was about how to replace the balance shaft with the oil pump assembly in a Jeep Patriot 2.4 2014. If someone out there think that I should have done something different, let me know. You can add comment to the channel. I'm okay with that. And as you can see, I mean, it sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good. It's building pressure. So I'm gonna take it for a test drive and see what's up. So thank you for listening to this video and watching this video. And again, this is Jerry on how to do it yourself. Take care.